Hello and welcome to the How to Choose Happiness and Freedom Show. I'm your host, Lauren Foster, happiness teacher and founder of Be Happy First. As a certified life mastery consultant, masters of wisdom and meditation teacher, and primal health coach, I'm on a mission to help 1 million women learn to be happy and free on purpose. Healthy, wealthy, and joyfully living life on your own terms. Happiness is a choice, and you can always choose to be happy first. Thanks so much for being here. Now on to today's episode. Look how great that went. I love technology. This is a beautiful, beautiful day. I am here today. Yeah. My dear friend Ed Bracey is the CEO and founder of Synergy of Empowered Women, which is going to be the focal point of our conversation today. He is an entrepreneur's empowerment strategist, which I also love. He helps his clients figure out where they are, where they want to go, and then he helps them build specific strategies in order to get there. And his clients are women, from startup small businesses to the CEOs of big companies. He is empowering women all over the world to make a difference in 1,000 different ways. So thank you so much for being here, Ed.
Thank you. Hi, Lauren. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing so good. I'm doing so good. And so we're live on Facebook, but if you are just listening to the podcast or other areas where this show appears, then you might miss out on a little bit of the visuals. But I want you to share with us the poster. We did our scheduling today because Ed wanted his new backdrop behind him. So tell us about that.
Absolutely. Well, over this shoulder, you'll see our logo, okay, which we've had for a while.
Okay.
But over this shoulder, you'll see a group photo. Can you see that?
Sort of.
Okay, there's a group photo. There's also individual photos of each of our women ambassadors for Synergy of Empowered Women. We have an ambassador of entrepreneurship. We have an ambassador of empowerment. We have so many different ambassadors who speak in the space that they represent. They're specialists in those areas. So anytime anyone needs a speaker in a certain area, we have a woman who represents empowerment in that area.
Awesome.
And collectively, they're the team that makes this whole thing work.
Okay, so
it's great.
This is a great time to just tell what is Synergy of Empowered Women and what's your mission? Tell us what's going on with that. And include in that what you mean by empowerment.
Okay, absolutely. When I sat down with a good friend of mine, we were on a coast-to-coast phone call. I was in Florida, she was in California, and she said, I've got an idea I want to run by you. I said, well, what's that? She said, men have what they call the old boys network. Whenever they need a favor, whenever they need an introduction, whenever they need information, they call their friends, and their friends empower them with whatever they need to get to that next position that they're looking for. She said, now women are different. We support each other emotionally, but we literally don't have a network like that. And she said, what I like to do is I believe we should start something like that. So that's what we did. Now, that started February of 2014, but it wasn't until probably 2016 that I fully understood what empowerment is. I was in a meetup group in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm probably one of 3 guys there, and there's probably like 150 women. So I introduced myself as the CEO of Synergy of Empowered Women, and I asked the women in the room, what does empowered mean to you? And I got so many different, answers. But what I surmise from all of this is that wherever you are right now, and whatever that goal is that you're looking for, empowerment is what takes you from that one space to that new space, whatever that encompasses. So that's what we do, whether it's advice, whether it's resources, whether it's coaching, counseling, whether it's mentoring, whatever that empowerment focus is, that's what we provide.
That's so very, very cool. And you're absolutely right. As a female entrepreneur, it's whenever you're missing some piece that you need for your business, we don't automatically have a network of people to call. We're getting there. That the Dalai Lama said the world will be saved by the Western woman. And a lot of that is that the Western woman has more resources than women in the rest of the world, but also because we just come from a different place. Have you seen that in your coaching? How so? Let's. One of the things I'm really interested in is Dr. Claire Zammit. She has an entire program around, it's called Evolving Wisdom, and what she is teaching is for women to embrace creating in a feminine way as opposed to a masculine way, which now, and it's very, very important that nobody think that we're bashing the masculine way of creating, because we're not. We've created an amazing world. All of our technology, all of our advances, all of the beautiful buildings that are around us came about as, here comes Romeo. And again, if you're listening on the audio, you missed the cameo appearances by my kitty cats who show up all the time. Romeo, especially the giant white cat, likes to come right here. So anyway, so Claire says that the masculine way of creating is like the way you would build a house. You have a plan, you have a step-by-step process, you do this, then this, then this, then this. And the feminine way of creating is the way you cultivate a garden. You create an amazing environment, and you add elements, and you add energy, and you add the things to help that grow, which is just a different feeling. And one of her assertions is that while we're breaking through the glass ceiling, we are CEOs, we're leaders of countries, we are, more of us are breadwinners, more of us are going to college, more of us are doing all of the things that denote success in our society, and yet we're still very unfulfilled. 20% of us are on antidepressants. That's not counting those of us who label ourselves depressed, but we're not taking any drugs for it. And 50% of us are living on our own without, partners. And those of us who do have partners are having less sex than our grandmothers did. So, so so the synergy of empowered women, and you, my cherished friend that I love, what is your thoughts about this phenomenon of we're making our way in the world, but we're still not happy?
You're going to be so happy that you asked me this question, because I'm prepared for you.
Okay.
I'm the oldest of two brothers. Both my brother and I grew up in and out of my mother's beauty salon. My mother was an advisor to women. She didn't just do their hair. She would discuss things with them. And her favorite saying was, you can always do better. And she was always encouraging women to do better, whatever that meant, whether it was education, a new job, a new relationship. She always believed that they could do better. And the other thing she believed is that women should have their own money. And I'm a great believer in that also. So, and I stored all this stuff in the back of my mind, and I worked for other people for quite some time. And then after that era of my life passed on, and this came on the scene, it was as if I've been in an academy of training to do what I'm doing right now. Okay. I do everything virtually. Shall say we do everything virtually. And the questions that we get, there hasn't been a question I've gotten that I haven't come across at one point or the other, because all of us are at different stages of life. The one thing that, well, two things. That number one, I acknowledge I'm a man and I work in a women's environment. So all my questions go to them. What do you feel about this? How would you handle this? Because once you decide how you would handle it, I'm going to execute it, because that's what I do. I execute things. I make sure things happen. But I need to find out if we're approaching it from the heartfelt side as opposed to the let's get it done side.
The logic side, yeah.
So that's one thing. The other thing is just really understanding that my level and picture and vision of what I determine success to be maybe night and day from the person that I'm talking with.
Mhm.
I have met women and they show me what they're doing, and I'm like, oh my God, that is so phenomenal. But they don't see that level of success that they're already in.
Mhm.
So when I want to promote them, they're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for that. And I'm like, but you're already there.
Right. Yeah.
You might not be mentally ready for it, but you're already there, you know. And along those same lines, I've had women who literally have had to keep it a secret that they're building a business because of the ridicule that they receive from spouses, from partners, from friends who don't understand that entrepreneurial space. And you and I both know entrepreneurs make things happen. We change the atmosphere of things.
Yeah.
And the way we do it is we do it with our personality and
Yeah.
understanding the power of that personality has been my saving grace.
So
Once
you,
I find out what people, what anyone, woman, man, whatever, what their input is to that atmosphere, we
yeah.
can rock and roll. You know.
Right. So I want to take this opportunity to clarify a little bit about, because this is something that we teach about all the time, in that you said they had to keep it a secret. And I want to reframe that to say
Yes.
that they felt like they had to keep it a secret. But at the same
Oh,
time, we do also advise you, when you have a big dream, it's all right to keep it to yourself, especially until your big dream is strong and solid within you, because people who love you, people who want the best for you, who have the best intentions, but like you said, don't understand, that they'll talk you out of it. They'll stomp on your dream because they don't know what you
exactly.
know. They don't feel what you feel. And that, yeah, that they can't conceive of it. Your parents, especially a generation or two ago, want you to be in the security of a job. They don't understand that your soul is yearning for the freedom of owning your own business. They just want you safe
Hmm.
according to what they
Hmm.
know. So, yeah, I get it.
Exactly.
And it's so
Yeah.
awesome that
I
you're,
learned the lesson the hard way. I
yeah,
did.
yeah.
I was doing a training in this beautiful conference room. And before I turned on the camera, I was told, don't show us because our bosses would immediately ridicule us about what we're doing. And I
Mm,
went, oh. So
mhm.
that changed my whole perspective on the actual level of opposition that some people stand.
Right,
Because my personality, you can oppose me, I could care less. I'm gonna do
right.
it, you know.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
not everyone is at that level, you know. They're at their own level, and I respect their level, you
Right.
know.
But at the same
Yeah.
time, you're also filling that void of having someone to talk to that understands, having a network of support that will, we like to say that we reflect back to you what you're becoming. Not what you are, not what you've been, not what we want you to be, but we, hold up a mirror for you to
Hmm.
see what you're growing into, and supporting one another in
Exactly.
that way. Yeah, and you're creating a whole
Exactly.
world where women do this for
Yeah.
each other. That's awesome.
And I'll tell you also, this is the one great aspect of women that I don't find so much with men. There are a few men who do this, but it's primarily women. Several of these women behind me, I connected with virtually before I met them in person.
Mhm.
I was on social media and I would see them hold conversations. Where's Carolyn? Carolyn right here is our VP of Business Development.
Carolyn's
Okay.
been on the show.
I
Yeah.
used, yep, I
Uh-huh.
used to watch her walk from her house to her yoga studio where she took yoga, and she would talk to people on her way. And we started a conversation, and I happened to be in her area on the West Coast, and I called her up. I said, "Guess what? I'm in your hometown here. Would you like to get together?" And it wasn't 5 minutes into the conversation that we realized we're meant to work together.
Mhm.
I mean, all the language, everything. Okay. This young lady right here, Kiri, she lives in New Zealand,
Okay. Uh-huh.
and she is all about the environment in New Zealand. And I used to love to watch her in the strangest places, picking up trash, tires, things like this. And one day I saw her driving in her car. She stopped. She's wearing a beautiful dress, heels, and everything. She gets out of her car and starts picking up trash in this area in front of a store. And this guy's looking at her like, "Are you out of your mind?" I said, "That's dedication. I need to meet this lady."
Yeah.
So we did a live together. And she said, "You know what? I really need what Synergy has to offer." And I went, "Woo, woo, woo, woo. Marriage made in heaven."
Uh-huh.
So another connection. I've got so many connections like that simply because of the women's power of purpose.
Mhm,
And I understand how powerful that purpose can be.
mhm,
It can elevate us far beyond where we could ever imagine ourselves. Does that
mhm.
make sense?
Yes, it does. It makes absolutely perfect sense. Okay, so I the definition of empowerment, we talked about that. And we
Mm.
talked about how the definition of success is different for other people. So let's talk about the definition of happiness because this comes up all the time. People are like, well, what do you mean happiness?
Mm.
And of course, I say, it doesn't matter what I mean by happiness. What do you mean by happiness? What fills your heart and lights up your soul? And so, in your journey and your encounters in helping all of these women, talk to me about happiness. Talk to me about freedom. What does that look like?
One of my greatest rewards in life that really just makes me happy is to see people achieve far beyond what they thought they could achieve. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate in my life to have had people who've taken me by the hand, so to speak,
Hmm.
and given me enough information that I could gain knowledge. I could move to a different perspective in life. And all of us need that person in our life who encourages, counsels, checks us,
Hmm. Hmm.
and lets us know, when we reach out that, you're doing well. You're okay. Don't get upset about this kind of stuff. Just this is temporary. Keep moving. Keep
Right.
moving. And that's the deal. Happiness is in movement. If we're moving towards things that we want to accomplish, we have to be happy
Hmm.
because every day you see something new being accomplished.
Hmm.
I mean, there are days when I'm just done because I'm one of these people. I burn my candle all the way to the end and I go to bed at night. I normally go to bed a little bit after 1 every night. Reason being, I've always been a
A
night
night
baby.
owl. Hmm.
Everybody in my house is asleep at 10. My brother, I think, goes to sleep at 9, but I go at 1.
Hmm.
And I found out now so I can talk to these women on the West Coast and overseas because they're awake when we're asleep.
Right.
And now we can do conferences like this, and
Hmm.
you don't have to pay big telephone bills.
Right.
Everything, as long as you have a Wi-Fi signal, you can converse worldwide.
In the
I
whole
love
world.
that.
Yeah.
So happiness to me is being in movement towards those goals, towards those ideals, towards your vision. That's happiness.
Okay. All right. So one of the mission of the Happy and Free on Purpose movement, that's our programs that we're creating and Be Happy First, is to there's like a three-step process. So the first is to figure out what it is that you want from your heart
Yes.
level, what makes you come alive, not what you think you can do, what you think you're qualified to do, what you think you'll be allowed to do, but what do you really want? And then to begin to develop the courage and the faith in yourself to move in that direction and to get support and help to guide you along that path. And when you can learn to fall in love with a vision of what you're working towards and at the same time be in love with where you are and loving the journey, that is the message of happiness
Mhm.
that we are teaching, and being free to reach for whatever it is that you
Absolutely.
want on your own terms. So, if
Mhm.
what would you say to a young woman who is working at her corporate desk and she is miserable and she is feeling underpaid and underappreciated and she would love to step out on her own and start her own business? What would you say? And we didn't rehearse any of this or plan any of these questions. We're so, but I know that Ed has answers to everything, so I'm not putting him on the spot. Just so you know.
Well, you're talking to me about the person that I meet on a pretty much a weekly basis.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
So the first thing I would do is an assessment of their skills. We all have a certain type of personality. So I have a couple different personality profiles that I would do a quick evaluation. And that would, number one, help me communicate effectively with them where they are. Because I may talk business, which I've done on several occasions,
Hmm.
and it's intimidating to someone who doesn't understand,
Hmm.
you know. So I need to understand, are they more artistic? Are they more numbers oriented? Are they more visual? Are they an activity person who just likes to, be involved in different things like that?
Hmm.
So those are the things I determine first. The next thing is I will ask them, what's your vision of success? You know,
Hmm.
for some people, it may just be making the car payment that month.
Hmm.
For someone, it may be $10,000 extra a month, you know.
Hmm.
So once I find out where that is, then I work my formula backwards to talk about getting to that place. What education is going to take to get there? What training is going to take to get there? Who's a good mentor for you? You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
I have some great mentors right here.
Uh-huh.
I tell you right now,
Hmm.
you strap in with them, and it's like going to Top Gun school because they've been where every person has been. Divorces, illnesses, losing parents. They've had the ups in life and they've had the downs in life, but they're still pursuing dreams and helping other people get their dreams. Um, See this lady right here?
Yes, I see her. He's pointing to a beautiful woman.
Okay. Okay. That's Teresa. Teresa was our first board member. When I had my very first Synergy of Empowered Women community event, we had it at Topgolf, and we invited a lot of the entrepreneurial women here in the area. And I described what we were doing. I had a fundraiser with me, and someone from the National Association of Nonprofit Organizations and Executives, which we're a member of also. We serve on the Board of Governors. And I said, this is what we're doing. Who would like to work with us? And she immediately says, you got me. I'm in. And since day one, she's been with us. She has a business. If you need an automobile, she can locate an automobile anywhere in the world, deliver it to you, have you sign the paperwork. You never have to set foot in a dealership. And she's done this worldwide. It's as far as from the East Coast to Dubai.
Wow,
Okay.
that's awesome.
She buys cars for people all over the world. And she
Mhm.
represents, I think, now 7 different NFL teams buying
Wow.
cars for their players. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
See, you can make a business out of anything. This is one of the things that we're trying to open up people thinking and realize that this is a world of infinite possibilities. I was in a course called Digital Course Academy by Amy Porterfield, which is astounding. And you know, she went from being a marketing girl for Tony Robbins to having, you know, she's now got a multi-million dollar business and she's just awesome. But she has people that are building courses for anything you can think of. One of her great success stories is a woman who makes caramel apples. And she taught a course on how to make caramel apples and is very successful at that. And
Hmm.
embroidering, knitting, grooming your dog, grooming your cat. You can make a business out of anything. So, whatever is on your heart, you can figure out a way to mold that into your life and you can teach them how to make it into a business. Yes?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hitchhiking on what you're saying, this pandemic situation has really brought a wake up call
Mm-hmm.
to the business of education and training.
Mm-hmm.
We've always been virtual since day one,
Mm-hmm. Me too.
but now, thank you. So many people are realizing, why are we going to these brick and mortar buildings every day when we can do all this right over a screen?
Right.
We can be at home. We don't have to travel. We don't have to pollute the air with automobiles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's brought a whole new perspective. And the university system is really, really going, what are we going to do now? We're going to have to start training online, even though there's still people who want to make sure they get to the campus and get that experience. That's great.
Right.
But they're realizing the power of what you have sitting in right in front of you.
Hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad to hear Amy's story. I've seen her on Facebook, I believe.
Hmm.
But people like you, like me, like Amy, it's our job to awaken people to understand this knowledge is out there.
Right.
You just have to reach out and get it.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't have to go through a gatekeeper. You
Right.
don't have to get a scholarship.
Nope.
You don't have to go in debt.
Nope.
You know,
Right.
get out there and make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's the other giant lesson is once you figure out what you love, you can always go and learn how to do it. If it's something that you want, but you don't have the skills, you can always learn. And that's where you get your
absolutely,
real confidence in that, knowing that, well, if I don't know it, I can learn it. I can learn
absolutely,
anything I need to know. So, it's very cool.
absolutely.
And
Can I share something kind of personal?
sure, yes.
Last year, Veterans Day weekend, Synergy of Empowered Women planned to have our first international convention in Vegas.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to put it together. And what we were going to do is have several of these women and some others come on stage, present their courses,
Hmm.
present their books,
Hmm.
present their retreats, all the different things that they do on the day to day, but do it to our international audience. Well, that didn't come together. So I said, let's regroup, let's plan for this year. And then the pandemic hit, and I got the greatest opportunity out of that situation that I've ever gotten.
Hmm.
When we were planning to do this event, I reached out to people who do these types of events professionally because it's all about advertising, hosting, being able to get the credit card swipes and keep those in track,
Right.
uh, food, beverage, lodging, all those things. Okay. Well, the people that I contacted, I was most impressed with, they got on Facebook and said, we just had a huge event that we had to cancel, and we actually did it online. And it turned out to be better attended, more profitable, and now we're going to teach you all how to do these events online. And I went, yes,
Yeah.
yes, this is what I need to know.
Right.
So I took their coursework, and this is what we're planning on doing here within the next 90 days. We're going to do our international convention online. Okay.
Nice. Okay.
And as a result of doing that, I decided I'd go ahead and get this because I'm going to be talking about this quite often.
Hmm.
And I'm going to have several of these women with me to talk about their excitement about it and what they're going to do to participate.
Hmm.
But we present women like this, people that you normally haven't heard about,
Right.
but who have just as much skills as everybody else out there. They just don't have that experience on the platform
Right.
like some of these other folks did. And
Good.
I don't know how it was for you in your professional life. I know how it was for me. I got pushed into the pool on that deal. My boss told me, "You're speaking in Atlanta day after tomorrow." I went, "I'm doing what?" So, having had that experience now in the US and Canada, and, been in the Caribbean, several different places I've spoken, I understand that's something that you have to do if you want to promote yourself. Even if you just have somebody interview you and you answer questions,
Mhm.
people want to know who you are,
Mhm.
you know.
Right.
So everyone's going to get an opportunity to know these women
To meet this
at
woman,
our
that's
convention.
amazing. All right, so this is a really good time for us to talk about that then, and we'll go back and put in the show notes. We'll put links to the Synergy of Empowered Women. We'll put Ed's email address. We'll make it really easy for you to get hooked up with us, so we can have an opportunity to participate in this conference if that's something that interests
Absolutely.
you, which it really
Absolutely.
interests me. I'd be really happy to do that.
Yeah.
Do you have a date
Absolutely.
for that yet?
Not yet. I
No.
have to, I've had to get past school graduations. Most of these women have sons and daughters who are graduating or just finished graduating.
Right.
And I don't press business when there's family stuff going on.
Right.
Okay. So we're going to get together here in the next few weeks and start putting concrete dates on things.
Mhm.
And we're going to move forward from there.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds awesome. Ed, thank you so much for being here with me today. You know, the day that I decided that it was time to start having guests on my show again, you popped instantly into my head. I'm like, I'll just get Ed will kick things off for me, and here we go.
Well, kicked off your first Zoom meeting with me, remember?
Yes, oh, yeah. Okay, so this round of podcast. Back at it again. Awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
All
I
right,
love it.
my
You
friend.
know, it's the
So
trailblazer for me with technology. I love it.
love it too. Okay. All right, guys. Well, we're going to be back here next week with more great information about how you can learn to be happy and free on purpose. So, in the meantime, remember that happiness is a choice and you can always choose to be happy first. I'll see you next week.
All right.